So we're going to state the type of quadratic surface and describe the trace obtained by intersecting this surface with the y equals 1 plane. So first of all, let's determine what kind of surface we're looking at. So here we see a positive x term, a positive y term, and a negative z term. So that means that we have not all the same signs, so it's not going to be an ellipsoid, and everything's squared. So that means that we have a hyperboloid of some sort. So we have a hyperboloid, okay, and on the right side we see a positive one, right? So that means it's also going to be a one-sheet one in particular. So we figured out the first part, hyperboloid, one sheet, all right? And now let's see, we're supposed to take the y equals 1 plane, and we're going to intersect it with this surface that we see here. So what that means is we're actually taking a trace, right? So y equals 1, 1 is our constant b, okay? So we're freezing y at 1, so that means if we plug in a 1 for y, what do we get? So we get x over 3 squared plus 1 over 5 squared instead of that y, right? And then that is going to be minus 5z squared is equal to 1. So let's just see where this goes. So we get x over 3 squared, and then plus our 1 over 25. And I'll move this this guy to the right side. Or well, actually I'll just keep it there. So I'll just keep our negative 5z squared there is equal to 1. So now let's subtract this 1 over 25 to the right side. Subtract that. So we're going to get that x over 3 squared minus 5z squared is equal to 1 minus 1 over 25, which is the same thing as 25 over 25, minus 1 over 25 is equal to 24 over 25, right? Okay, so now let's continue this on the next slide. So we have an x over 3 squared minus 5z squared is equal to 24 over 25. Now let's see if we want a 1 on the right side, we just multiply times the 25 over 24 on both sides, so multiply by the reciprocal. So on the right side, we just get a 1. And then on the left side, we have a 25 over 24, x over 3 squared, and then minus, this would be a 125 over 24 z squared. So this is actually going to be, so we have a 1 on the right side, and this is the equation of a hyperbola, right? Because we have something squared, like a variable being squared, minus another variable being squared. So this is this trace determined by y equals 1. That's our plane. Trace obtained by this plane. Okay, so the trace on that plane is going to be a hyperbola. Which is parallel to the xz plane. Okay, so let's say I don't know exactly like how to graph this with all those numbers and everything, but this is going to be like if we set y equal to 1, so this is our plane y equals 1, right? And now we actually have a hyperbola, which is something like two parabolas facing away from each other, right? Something like that. Okay, so that's our that's the trace that we have obtained.
Remember the day I set you free.